Stop! You hear that? You're up after this. Oh, shit, I'm up! Frederick, just hustle! I can't do this. Jesus, what a pushover I am.
Hello. Today we have Misha Klein on The Prisoner's Dilemma, where we talk about striking a balance between the passion for your art or your craft and paying the rent. I'm so happy to have Mish here today. We've worked on some of the same projects, animated projects, but I'm not sure if we actually worked on them at the same time. Coraline, for one.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. I wasn't on it very long. I think I was only on it for like about 8 months.
Yeah.
And you may have rolled off right when I got on. I can't remember.
I think I did. I think I was given the choice of continuing to work with Henry and all that entails, or going over to Leica development and starting some new feature ideas, including my own. So I was like, oh yeah, which would you choose? So, and that was so long ago. Oh my gosh. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Misha. Like, when you got started becoming interested in animation as a profession.
I benefited from my dad was a filmmaker.
Oh, cool.
In the 70s. And actually he went to UCLA film school, met my mom, and wrote a feature-length film and got it financed. And when I was about 1 year old, we went to Mexico and shot a film. He made one film his whole career. And his name is Rolando Klein. He's from Santiago de Chile, South America. So he's a Chilean guy.
Okay.
But he has Hungarian roots. And so he made this film called Choc the Rain God in the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. So we lived in Mexico for...
Holy smokes.
Yeah, for my first year, I don't know, year or two. I was from about 1 to 2, I was in the jungles of the Yucatan with my hippy dippy parents. And that has nothing to do with my love of animation, but growing up, we had Super 8 cameras and 16 millimeter cameras around the house. My dad had friends that were all filmmakers and ADs and editors and stuff. And so, I grew up in Los Angeles, and I tinkered around with the Super 8 camera. And my older brother, showed me the single frame advance. And I was his AC, essentially. I was the button pusher for a couple G.I. Joe films that we did. And so I just observed, my older brother, Simon's 3 years older than me. I just watched him rock and roll with it. And then he said, well, why don't you do some stuff? And when we get the film back from the lab, we can check it out. I was a little kid at that point, and I took some stuffed animals and I just set stuff up and I started shooting these things going and cruising through the house. And it was actually a dream sequence for the G.I. Joe film because he hit his head and he had a knife. So my brother let me do the dream sequence. And that planted the seed. And then I used to, when I was playing with G.I. Joes, I used to just like be in slow motion playing with them, because the language had been set in my brain. I was like, wow, you can make something fly or jump or do something.
Yeah.
And so it kind of married and meshed with my imagination from a really early age. I was like, technology and dreaming kind of merged.
Yeah.
And so I forgot all about it And then in college, I was studying painting, sculpture, and theater arts. I was a theater arts major, and I wanted to combine all of those things. So I transferred schools to San Francisco, where San Francisco State had an animation major you could do. So that was it. Once I started studying animation, it was game over.
Nice.
Yeah, and that I mean, did that answer your question? I don't know.
Yes. I have a funny GI Joe story, if you will allow me. That just came to mind. Is I love the GI Joes. You know, there's like an expense equation to that, and I had you know, like, how much can you spend? It's obviously like it's a marketing bonanza for Hasbro.
Oh yeah.
And at one point I realized that like I was getting all this equipment and I was becoming attached to it, and it was maybe some kind of like kid enlightenment where I said, I'm just going to take G.I. Joe and fly him around naked. And it was like so freeing. And like, so I would fly him around and like, yeah. And you just like put him out, you know, and he had his like little plastic butt, you know, like out in the open air. And it was like, yeah, you know, he's free, he's flying around. And I remember my dad looking at me like, okay, you know, basically like, okay, what's going on there? And, but it was like, yeah, it was like freedom for Joe. It was so good. It was like, it gave me.
I know, and there was, that's so funny that you were flying him around naked, because he had so many accessories and so many buttons, and he had like tool belts and, you know, outfits. He had submarines and tanks, Jeeps, and
I know, and having to maintain all that stuff. Like you have to go get them serviced and keep the oil changed and all that kind of stuff.
I know, the little hood on the Jeep would open, and you get the little headlights and the
Why not just fly around naked?
Oh, I know. That's primal. I love it. Cachuela, you're just going to the root of it. Did you ever hear Eddie Murphy's, I think it was Raw, and he does that bit about G.I. Joe in the hot tub swimming?
Yeah.
That's what popped in, sorry.
Yeah, what was that? He's in the hot tub. But anyway, so what did your dad think of your experimenting with filmmaking? And did he encourage it or?
Yeah, he totally did, you know. He did. I think it's funny. It was interesting when I got in college, you know, as an adult, you're picking almost as if you're doing a career choice. And, you know, I figured I'd probably be bussing tables and working in restaurants my whole life. And that I was just going to pick the major that brought me the most joy and made me the most happy. And that was farthest away from math and science, which was not my jam. And so I was just trying to get through 4 years of college with as much pleasure and passion as I could. And so I was just making films. And I think he kind of was looking at me a little sideways, like, what do you, and also, I mean, you know, I had it modeled that one could be a filmmaker, but, you know, as soon as he had 4 boys, he was like, I can't do this as a career because it's too crazy. The hours are too long. I'm going to be away from my family too. And so he just started doing businesses. So throughout his, you know, my growing up, I saw him as a businessman. You know, so when I started getting into film, I think he was a little concerned. He may have even been a tiny bit jealous because that was the dream that kind of slipped away from him.
Yeah.
So, but he was very encouraging and supportive for sure.
Cool. Yeah. So, and you know, when you said math and science weren't your jam, is that what you were saying? But stop motion animation, man. You know that's hands-on learning that stuff. You know, so it's interesting that possibly you turn that weakness into a strength. I don't know. What do you think?
You know, I think when any chunk of knowledge is used practically, it gets more engaging and fun to do. Yeah, to this day, I'm horrible with math. You know, I like
Mm,
people go, "Oh, this is a 5 second shot," and I'll have to actually think about like how many frames is that. I just the numbers and the analytical side of animation didn't appeal to me as much as sort of the instinctual, artistic, and kind of more imaginative, abstract
yeah.
side. So I was turned on by making a character do something that just felt extreme, something
Mm,
I could never do in my own body,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Fred. Fred is awesome.
Oh, thanks,
Um,
man.
it's a clown it's having performance anxiety, right? If I remember correctly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go to work, essentially.
Yeah. And you,
He doesn't want to sort of perform the thing that he knows he has to. And Fred was sort of an allegory for my own anxieties about life.
I can so relate to that. And you captured
Well,
it very well. And then also, uh, you were inspiring to me because I think there's a couple times where you showed me sets that you were working on. Like one was in your, um, in a room in your apartment in San Francisco, and and I didn't really know that many people who just went for it, like in their own houses. Tim Hiddle is another one that would do his J. Clay films in his kitchen. Uh, but Fred was done at Stage 13 here in Portland, and I'm still working with those guys because I'm
oh,
doing some
cool.
editing of this podcast there, and we even filmed some interviews there. But I remember you had it tucked away above, like you wouldn't see it at eye level, but then you look up and it was like in this platform, right?
Yeah, it was on the stage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was on the stage, which is so appropriate for that film because, Stage 13, I think, used to be at big events. Dude, that building is trippy.
It
It's
is,
got
yeah.
it's got history and and ghosts are floating around in the bones of that joint. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
It started out as a gay goth club,
there you go.
like
Okay.
way back before that was people even knew what that was. And then
Only in Portland would you combine those two things. I love it.
yeah, yeah. But yeah. So it's definitely it's gone through a lot of iterations, and then now it's just in the prisoner's dilemma now of like, okay, we have all this equipment. So many cool things have been done here, and now there's just the work is kind of dried up, kind of in
Yeah.
tandem with everything that is, for whatever reason, the uh, things changing so fast in technology, um, the writer's strike, all this kind of stuff. Like, what's going to happen with AI? Is it going to, how do we adjust? And so they're kind of point blank with that right now. How do you feel that, Mish?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. I mean, and it's a tool, and it's essentially going to be what are the tools that people are drawn to.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people that had frustrations or trepidation in getting involved in something like stop motion may find a nice cozy little home in AI because it responds to your editorial brain. You can just get iteration after iteration and just pick and choose what you want, because stop mo is so difficult, it's so hard and arduous, and you have to build everything, and it's always delayed satisfaction,
Mm.
and it's not about the final, it's about the journey and it's about the process. And a lot of artists are still process oriented artists like myself. It took me 10 years to make Fred. I started in San Francisco.
Wow.
Uh, I moved it down to LA when my ex-wife and I moved down there. I shot a bunch of it in Silver Lake. I shot some at Shadow Machine before they moved up to Portland.
Mm.
And then when I moved to work on Henry's film, Coraline, I finished it at stage 13. But dude, it wasn't even about a finished film. It was about making something, toiling, like getting lost in I look at Tippett making Mad God. Like that, that journey must have been, an odyssey for him.
Totally.
Where it's not about arriving to some space. It's about undergoing the journey, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you'll allow me to nerd out for a little bit. When I first moved to the Bay Area, and I was working at Skellington, I think it was Cameron Noble took me over to Tippett's. When would that have been? Like in the 91 maybe or something? And
wow.
Bill Bowes was there, like working on the guy, like the main character. And it was I think it was like a G.I. Joe, armature, like converted G.I. Joe, I think. So that it brought back the G.I. Joe.
I was wondering what scale that was, because I haven't paid Phil a visit.
It was pretty much G.I. Joe scale.
Yeah, it was like yay-ish.
Yeah. And
like
then
8-inch type.
Yeah. And then off to the side, kind of like Fred was in Stage 13, there was this hospital set, and Cameron goes, "Oh, here's Phil Tippett." And I was like, hello, the legend, the guy who did the Empire Strikes Back stop motion, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, great to meet you, and he was like, mm.
And this was,
and then he went back animating like
the
these
Jurassic madness.
Yeah, but he went back to animating like this horrific hospital scene, that where everyone thinks of being.
Oh, I love that nightmarish.
Yeah.
Hospital, where she's giving birth to the creepy creature.
Yeah, that was 91.
Wow.
So it took you 10 years to do Fred. Was there a time where you kind of like Dark Night of the Soul, where I'm not going to get this thing done? And how did you overcome that?
Yeah, the only thing overshadowing my ability to work on it was just trying to maintain this freelance career as a stop motion animator.
Yeah.
So, I was like, my number one task was keeping food on the table and paying rent. So I was, all about my career. And, I figured out a way to store all of my set pieces in these bicycle boxes.
Oh.
Bicycle boxes are kind of narrow, flat, big, giant boxes. So I could sit the walls, take the whole set apart, sit the walls in there, and I could move to another city and then just pop it up. And
brilliant! What was the inspiration for that? Just the size.
Just necessity being the mother of invention. I was looking at these things. They were about 30 inches tall.
Mm-hmm.
The backstage walls were sort of vertical. And it was all modular, like walls could pop off. And I tried to keep everything really simple. There were 2 little locations. There's one character, if you don't count his boss, which is just a shadow. And so I was like, I don't want to build a lot, and I want to tell a story, and I like dialogue-driven drama. I like performance stuff, and I hadn't seen a whole lot of stuff that I think Aardman was starting to kind of tickle a place, thanks to Nick Park, where I was like, I enjoyed the nuance of those performances. I liked some of the facial animation of it. It felt like it was a merge between this cartoony world, but also these more adult themes.
Yeah, I love it. It's surreal. You don't have to answer now, but I'd love to get your permission to show clips of Fred during this interview.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's rough and dirty. I
Yeah.
mean, you look back, because I started Fred in 2000,
Mm-hmm.
and then I ended it in 2010.
Mm.
So, I mean, it's hard to look at as far as like technically. I'm kind of ashamed a lot of it because I was still learning how to animate.
Yeah. I love the floppiness of the animation. That's really hard to achieve. That kind of like, flop. You and Malcolm Lamont, you both can do it. Like I don't know what it is, like the extra follow through or I don't know. But I don't want to get too technical here, but that's pretty astounding in my book. No.
Thanks, man. I loved your animation, your 2D animation on Nightmare, the stuff
Oh yeah,
uh, of the moon, the backlit moon,
yeah,
um, with the bats flying and Oogie Boogie
yeah.
delivering that line. That has always stayed with me, dude.
Oh cool.
Do you still mess around with animation
Uh,
when you're boarding or even?
yeah. I always get back into it, but I'm through getting older have like bad shoulders from various sports injuries and from just all the drawing and stuff. So it's hard to kind of put the energy into it. Uh, and then I've been doing some course animation courses here in Portland.
Oh,
Which is
cool.
kind of
Like online stuff or?
we're thinking about doing that. There's a art studio here called Hipbone Art Studio, which is a classic life drawing studio
Cool.
that I've been developing a relationship with. I got back into life drawing when I realized, okay, I can't draw with my right hand anymore. It's just
Yeah.
not happening, like or professionally anyway, because it just it would go
Is it
numb
is it
basically.
shoulder?
It's biceps tendonitis, so it's like it's just there, yeah, it's there to stay, and so I forced myself in this life drawing class and to just draw with my left hand. I said I'm just going to force myself to do this, and I found out I can do it. I can do it, and then it's like a big adjustment for your brain and everything too, and then you discover that at a spiritual level, you know, probably everyone's ambidextrous. You've just been trained to think that you're supposed to draw with one hand or the other or whatever, or the dominant hand, there's probably some truth to that. But you can change your mind in ways to take on new skills and all that stuff. And that was like a revelation. But I haven't tried animating with my left hand. So that's probably the next step, just to see how that goes. Just for pleasure or whatever. But I still do stuff previs and even some final shots and some projects that I'll jump in on After Effects and move things around. But
That's cool, man.
yeah.
Yeah, I try to force myself to draw with my left sometimes,
Hmm.
and um, it's great, man. The thing it does to the wiring of your mind. It's just like wow. I think of there's this book that had all kinds of exercises like that where you
Hmm.
would write a question with your right and then answer it with your left.
Uh,
And so you're delving into these unconscious places, and oftentimes you're answering your own questions by posing them to the other wired part of your brain.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love stuff like that, because
I think of we have a mutual friend, Mike Bernay. He's a sculptor, and he lost the shoot. He didn't lose both eyes, but he lost a lot of the usefulness of one of his eyes, and had to retrain himself to see in dimensionally see like the clay that he's sculpting or the drawing that he's drawing.
yeah,
And I think that really did some fun stuff to his work. It propelled him in all these new avenues and directions because
yeah,
he's limited to a degree.
yeah. I love that guy. I'm trying to get him on the podcast to talk about the clown parties.
Oh my God! Yes,
And then
dude, he's so entertaining.
do you want to get on that, Misha? We could dress up for it.
Oh, dude, I'm all about it. I would love it. I'd get my Kiss regalia going.
Yeah, and both you and Mike are into the kind of like improv acting or improv. I don't know, Mike. Does Mike act as well?
Oh, no, he's teaching acting right now to kids.
Yeah, he's totally so good.
Acts. I mean, that's kind of where we really bonded was we were members of this little small independent theater in San Francisco called the Red Rocket Theater, and we did plays together. A little black box theater.
That's right. I saw a film that you were in where you were like having sex on a table. Can we talk about that, or is that?
Oh yeah, sure.
It's like what
was that?
Okay, I remember thinking about
Ross Schumann's film.
Yeah, that's some dedication.
It's called if people are interested in seeing me having sex on a table, it's called what is that film called? Knapsack 1031.
Okay.
It was shot, like high 8 digital video back in the so it was but yeah, Ross showed me the script and I was like, this is a pretty intense scene here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was game. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then Mike. Then there's that. Were you in have any involvement in the Western?
Yes. Yeah, our epic Western that never. I edited a 20-minute rough cut of it, and Mike was like, not into my cut.
Oh,
and I said, have at it, and it's been on his computer ever since.
Yeah.
He still has it, this unfinished cut of it.
Yeah.
I might take it back and finish editing it because the whole point of it was to go back and do the spaghetti Western thing, like dub in all the voices, and that would have been the fun part.
Yeah.
But it's still work in progress, I guess. The Western.
What was that shot on? I can't remember.
Just high 8.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're film buddies, we're theater buddies, and right now we're working on a project together.
Oh, great.
Side project, but we're trying not to talk about it too much.
All right. Fine.
Just teasing you out there a little bit. I know.
So let's talk a little bit about your the music video that you just did. Is that out yet? Can people see that?
Yes, it's in 3 parts, and all 3 parts are now out. It's a video I did for the weekend. A handful of animators worked on it. It was pretty small, low budget thing, believe it or not. We did it during the fires in Los Angeles. It was really a stressful shoot, honestly.
Wait, sorry, Misha. Are we talking about the same thing? Is this the music Eric Clapton music video?
Oh no, sorry. That was the Eric Clapton video was a little different. That was a job that came in to open the portal, and David Braun was going to be out of town. He couldn't direct it, so he called me in to sort of direct for him. And so I took his creative and I kind of pushed it across the finish line. It was fun to do. We just didn't have very much time or very much money to do it in, so it was a fun challenge. I kind of like those types of things, where it's like math. You're just trying to squeeze what can I do with no time and no money?
But
And so that
I
was
thought
it.
you weren't good at math, Mish. Didn't you
I
just
guess
say?
it turns out it looks like I'm really good at it because we turned it in on time and on budget. I was like,
That's
me and Matt Hazelrig did some serious high fiving after that.
it really forces you to do math. Those logistical problems. Like I'm working on a project right now. It might be the first project where I'm helping write a third draft of a script,
Okay.
and there is a math to, and I have high hopes for the project, and the people that are producing it want, of course, get every idea into this draft of the script that they, and you can't have it all. So there's going to be a lot of story math and a lot of condensing and what stays and what goes and all that stuff. And man, there is so much math to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to it really doing a low budget project forces you to do that. And then but it's a great challenge. Like I wonder if there's some kind of left brain service to that.
Yeah. And also a lot of the stuff you can suggest, it can be off frame.
Yeah.
I see these projects that look so high budget. And then when you, on second blush, you look at it again, you go, oh, wow, that was really intelligently done as far as like, implying something. It's almost like you allow people to paint their own pictures.
Yes, that's the sweet spot right there.
Oh, we weren't on the plane. Wait, come to think of it, we didn't see that plane do the big wreck.
Yeah.
We heard it, it was suggested, and we saw the things before and after it. But yeah, I love those kinds of things. I mean, that's it. It's problem solving.
Yeah.
That's why I love filmmaking, man. Right? You're on set and you're just like, oh shit, how are we gonna fucking do this?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm cussing up a storm here.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's exciting. Is it live action? May I ask?
It's stop motion. It's stop motion, and
Cool.
the couple that's producing it, they are in Kosovo. They want to make the whole thing out of recycled plastic.
Oh wow!
Sats, puppets. There's a way to print. There's a way to kind of shred plastic, turn it into pellets, melt it down, extrude it into this and filament, and then put that into a 3D printer.
3D printer, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that stuff. It's so cool.
Yeah. And then
and you just do a little build up, lay, and you're gonna build the characters out of printed plastic.
That's the plan. So and there is the technology to do that. There's more like it's young YouTubers do it, and they print out little toys and stuff like that. So I'm hoping it could be refined enough to print out, replacement faces and things like that. And then but the whole idea is that as a statement against plastic waste and microplastics and all that, the problem that we're experiencing with that and
then when you're done with the film, you're just going to probably toss the sets in the garbage. Okay. that was a really insensitive joke.
Dare you? I'm trying to make a serious statement to the world, Mish.
No, I like it, dude. Dude, that's art,
Yeah.
And that's why I love Tim Hiddle's stuff. He's using found, recycled.
Yes.
Mad God looked like it had a lot of dumpster dive, divided goodies.
Yeah.
It's like recycle this shit, man. Get it?
Yeah. And there's so much waste in the film business, and it's so like it eats at me that we're, this is the prisoner's dilemma right here. There's the fun of creating a world from scratch that never existed before, and then there's just the waste that goes into that, the amount of materials and stuff like that, and money.
Yeah.
And then it's gone. And it's like, what do you do with those sets? Or, most of the time put in landfill. um,
I was lucky. My first job, I was pushing puppets around, but then after Bumping the Night wrapped, I thought I was a made man, and I went around and I was showing my reel to people. Went to Phil Tippett, a bunch of places, and I had just a streak of slowness. Nobody wanted to hire me,
hmm,
and I was watching everybody jump on James and the Giant Peach, or Starship Troopers, or ILM stuff, or PDI stuff, or um, and I started PAing, and I saw people throwing so much stuff away, and that's when it really opened my eyes to like film waste
hmm.
on just such a ginormous scale.
Yeah,
Like you're saying, it's especially in live action, it just trips me out.
yeah,
In this entitled feeling of like, or just, of course, it's all disposable. You wouldn't
yeah,
even think it's not even thought of as a component. So I think that's really cool that you guys are doing that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I'm. At some point, we're going to be looking for, people to help produce the thing. So that's going to be fun too, I think. But
Cool.
uh,
Keep me in mind, brother.
of course, yeah, yeah, yeah. And if you know anybody with a lot of money that would want to invest in the stop motion feature, please pass on the
Yeah.
info. Yeah, so I think
Hey,
it's gonna be like a
let's
grass.
talk off camera. I don't, but that's a creative thing that I like looking into. I like exploring those things.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think there's gonna be a lot of grassroots power that's gonna be in play, on the thing. So
Awesome. Well, I think that's the future, man.
yes,
I mean, the economy took a shit. Let's face it. The people that were funding and throwing money around are kind of starting to kind of like hold their cards a little closer to the chest,
mm,
because there's so many unknowns.
yeah,
What's gonna happen to the U.S. dollar? I don't know. Jesus.
right,
Um, Seems like a lot of people are hedging into other places. So film doesn't look like quite the investment it used to be back in the day.
yeah,
So I think it's going to get way more indie and grassroots,
mm,
and a lot more direct to the audience. Like this whole internet is the promise
yeah,
of audience finding artists and merging directly without all the middlemen.
yeah, 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 yeah.
No, I love all the Kickstarter stuff. I love all the um, streaming, but like indie streamers.
Hmm.
Let's see more of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how do you define an indie streamer? Is it something that's released on
Well,
YouTube or?
you got these giant companies, Netflix, Hulu, whatever,
Mhm.
and they have their algorithms, and they can pick and choose and decide what they want. It's essentially they're the new distributors, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
And they're giant corporations that don't think like an artist. They think like business people.
Mm,
Amazon will just kill a project because the analytics or the AI model or whatever told them that it's not going to work. And it's like that might have had long-term staying power with the audience. I mean, that might have really found and hit the ground running. So to me, indie, when the, the promise of Vimeo was there for a while. Do you remember when they did a 90-10 split with the artist? Do you remember that?
Uh,
You could
vaguely.
price there was a show on Vimeo called High Maintenance.
Hmm.
That show. It was like these little 11-minute, and then HBO picked it up. But it was a Vimeo original series, High Maintenance. And it was about a guy selling weed on his like bicycle, I think,
Oh dear.
in New York. And they priced it, I don't know, 25 cents an episode, whatever it was, 99 cents. Remember when people were like more free with their credit card? They're like, oh, I'm going to buy a whole season for $15.99, whatever. But back then, the Vimeo split. Sorry, I'm a little curious. I have a new neighbor that just moved in. And Vimeo took 10%.
Yeah.
The artist got 90.
Wow.
Do you know anywhere where you can get that kind of split? Anywhere.
No.
So if you convince somebody to invest in your show that you want to stream or your movie that you want to stream, and you do it through an independent channel, all you're going to spend your money on really after that is marketing, right?
Yeah.
Is getting the word out and hyping it up and trying to make it go viral, right? And then hopefully people buy it. You know, you price it. But let's say you shoestring budget, you got your $5 million budget. And you price it at $199 and you get 10 million people to see it.
Dude, you're doing math again, man. I don't know.
But it's gone now. Vimeo doesn't offer that anymore.
Okay.
You know,
I do remember that.
They got watched.
I think that's what helped.
But it's finding those things, those streams where you're like, let's get the hands back to the proletariat. Let's get the artist to let's flip the pyramid scheme upside down a little.
Amen, brother.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Money and math both kind of turn me off, honestly.
Yeah. So you.
That's why I'm so broke.
Yeah.
And happy.
Yeah, I know. I tell myself that I'm broke and happy. And all those people that are having to monitor their money, that's a big job. And
it's an obsession.
Yes.
That honestly, if you just turn your little money magnet on, you just go, okay, I'm living in a world where there's enough for everyone.
Yeah.
And when I need it, it will come, you know?
Right.
And you can have that attitude with your hobo gloves next to your open fire after you just, hitchhiked, whatever. It's like, you're still alive. You're still kicking. You still have interesting things to say and share.
Yes.
Why are you obsessing over like the big castle on the hill? Is that going to make you happy? I don't know.
Maybe for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You could have some big
people are driven by that.
Yeah.
They're thrilled
at
the prospect, and they're wired for that ambition.
Yeah. But Mish, I cut you off. You were talking about another project, one of your current projects. Do you want to talk more about that? Do you want to? Is there anything you want to promote?
Yeah, I just did a string of shoots for Eddie Alcazar, this director down here in LA, who has been really drawn into stop motion. And he did a 3-part music video for The Weeknd. And it's...
What's The Weeknd? What is The Weeknd?
Weeknd is, I forget Abel's last name. He's a musician, very famous. Some of the like the most downloads on Spotify kind of guy. And he's got this beautiful voice, almost sounds like Michael Jackson. And he had a TV show for a while. So he's a multi-talented dude, and he made this video called Red Terror, and it's trippy. It's like live action eyes were composited on these very realistic silicone puppets, and it had a very naturalistic kind of horror flavor. Joe Passarelli lit it, so it's very noir and backlit and beautiful.
Oh, wow.
We shot, for every frame of animation, we shot 7 exposures. So there's different colors that he could in post sort of bleed and dissolve between. And it was done pretty quickly. It was done right in the middle of the fires down here. It was we had to move to the night shift.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the homes around my place had mandatory evacuations, and the smoke was really bad. So my wife and child went to Palm Springs and shacked up with my parents while I was working on it. So it was
So
surreal.
what year was this?
This was a couple months ago
Oh,
during the
okay,
the
yeah, the
Palisade,
big fires, yeah.
the Eaton Canyon fire, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And so it was trippy driving
Oh, I
at
bet.
night as the sun's going down. I would drive to work, and it looked like Vesuvius. It looked like this giant volcano, like pillars of smoke going. And it was like LA was just getting torched. And there I was doing a horror stop motion music video in the night shift. And then I would get off in the morning. And same thing, I would drive with the sun coming up. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
But a weird stop mo gig for sure. I don't know what else to say about it.
Yeah. No, I have some friends who've lost their houses, burnt to the foundation, or if the fire, like in Pacific Palisades, somehow managed to, like got lucky, and their house survived. It's going to be a year before they can clean up enough to really make things livable. And
it is wild, man.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, the sheer volume of damage is crazy, and it's changed the whole traffic dynamic of LA because workers are going to and from. I mean, imagine hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of workers in shifts.
Yeah.
Are cleaning up one of the biggest disasters ever to happen on this planet. So it's epic. I mean, you drive mile after house after block after block. You're just looking at, I have a podcast myself. I did a whole episode.
Right. What's it called?
A little promotion.
You're in the car and
I do these quick little podcasts called On the Move.
Yeah.
And I'm just driving around, and I usually pick a topic, and I have these little impressions of whatever, and then I move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So it's not this long format like we're doing right now. And I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, dang, we're talking for 50 minutes. This is crazy.
It's good. No, I know I've listened to a couple episodes, and I plan to listen more, because you that's you, Mike Bernay, I have other friends that can roll with the stream of consciousness improv. And I'm quite, envious of that. Cause I'm more like,
you know what the trick is, Mike?
What's that?
Dark chocolate. A little piece of, before you go into like interviewing somebody, just take a little piece of dark chocolate.
Now you tell me.
Let's talk, baby.
You tell me. Okay.
No, that's my secret weapon right now.
Okay. Please, Mish, help me engineer the Dark Chocolate Clown Party podcast episode with Murnane. Who else could be in it on that?
Who else went to some of those parties? I mean,
Kundo.
Yeah. Preciado.
Yeah.
So many people. So many people in the industry, so many artists.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bay Area was the it spot, man. You remember?
Yeah.
It's just not like that anymore. But
was...
Mike is still there. He's still in that same apartment.
I know.
And you remember those parties would end up on the roof?
Yes.
Rooftop party.
Yeah. I remember I pinned Mike with a pair of toy nunchucks. And I had his arm.
That's hard to do, man.
He's extended. And he was like, no. And that was my clown power right there. I could pin you with toy nunchucks. And then we went on a clown march. I'm not sure if this happens all the time. Down what's the street that he
Geary or one of those?
Yeah. Where we go into bars and people would get really pissed off. They were confused, like 50 clowns walking around. And then they would get pissed, like the guys at the pool table. I could tell they were like clenching their pool,
Pool sticks, totally.
Yeah,
They're like,
like,
who are all these freaking clowns?
yeah. Like they were, gearing up for a clown beating. I could tell,
And
but
every
they would have
single
got a
clown,
fight. They would have got a fight. I don't think you
totally.
realize.
Like, remember that
But
film?
I
Remember Warriors?
yeah,
Warriors.
yeah.
That would have been a scene right in that fucking film.
Next time I'm bringing the toy nunchucks, man, with those guys at the pool table. What do you
Yes,
think?
I love it. Yes, and we'll have noses. And
Yeah,
yeah, clowns creep people out.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
when I told my wife Liz like that we used to have these clown parties, she's like, "Oh, count me out of that." You know,
Right.
when people just go near because they've seen it too many times or whatever. It's just, clowns are a thing.
Yes, clown's a thing, and so through history there have been sacred clowns. There's the people,
Oh
they're the
yes.
jesters. There's the Hopi Indians have the clowns that will try and it's like mock kidnapping, but it's just poking fun at society
They
and
fool
doing
death.
and do that. And so there's a tribe. I consider you one of these clowns, Mish. Mike Murnane,
Hey,
obviously. Who else? Like,
thank you.
yeah. It's
Oh, so many. Oh my God.
yeah,
So many people. Because this is a funny medium. I mean, think about animation.
right.
It's a magnet for funny people,
Yeah.
and so you have all our kindred spirits are in this medium because it absorbs all of them.
Hmm.
If you're into costume, music, set, props, rigging, uh, uh, cinematography, lighting. You got all the tech people,
Hmm.
and it's just a funnel. It does it all.
Yeah.
Like storyboarding, writing a script, performing voices,
Right. Yeah.
designing, hairdos or
Yeah.
whatever.
And you're making a caricature of society basically, by with a lot of the films. So you are
Yeah,
pointing, kind of like poking fun at society.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
When you're, yeah, exact caricaturing the world.
Yeah.
Like I dare AI to really do that well.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because there's going to be little things that limitations that we start to butt up against with this monster that we're getting into the room with.
Right. Well, so it will do it. Give it about 20 years when it's in walking robots that are probably human size, walking around, getting the data, and seeing how weird the world is. They'll make their own weird, surreal films.
For themselves.
I don't know.
We'll
Yeah.
just be so bored. We'll be so bored and like laid back at that point. We'll just be like, can you watch your own films and just make us a little food?
But what if we merge? What if we,
Oh, of course. That's what
we're already merged. We're merged, we've got the,
so
we've
they
got the,
say.
yeah, we've got the merge device in our hands, like, most of the day. And, we're merging.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I think it's inevitable, and it trips me out that if you do a deep dive on Dune, that it talks about there's an era where all technology is like destroyed. And I remember reading that, thinking, that's pretty out there, pretty far fetched, but I could see it getting to that. Like I don't think that it's going to take over and kill humanity unless it does by accident. It's not going to do it on purpose. But I can also see that how prophetic that part of the Dune, world where
Like we'd be so threatened that we'd have to take it all out.
we take it all out, like, or and go to different planets and just like we're not taking that with us, and
Or a great big EMP type event where it just all infrastructure is just gone in a blink.
mm,
If you're on a plane, sorry,
Yeah, you mean what, like an electromagnetic, what were you saying?
pulse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Where they nuke the upper atmosphere and it just sends this gnarly pulse that just wipes out all infrastructure
Mm, that's a good idea. I'm
in
gonna write that down.
It's a good story point.
But yeah,
I don't
that's a
know.
so that's the prisoner's dilemma too. I love it. I love the concept. It's a game theory because it scales up to the planet Earth, to humans living on the planet Earth. Like who, if countries were to develop this weapon, electromagnetic, it affects everyone. It's just, it's not going to just, be your people. But
and where do we go? We go back to fishing with Bartek
mm,
on a river up in Oregon
I don't
somewhere.
mind that.
You know what I mean? You have to get back to sticks and
I don't
stones.
mind that. As long as I have a puffy.
You know,
I would still need a puffy, like a puffy jacket.
you got to get a puffy jacket,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Skin an elk and blow some puffs in there. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Elkskin puffy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think no matter how sophisticated and cute we get with our tech, that nature will have the final say.
Yeah,
Uh,
of course.
so the natural world is always there.
Yeah.
And I think borrowing from nature, the sooner we do it for our inspiration, the more evolved we'll get to be on this planet. Because right now we've kind of turned our back on it, on
Yeah.
nature. And, we've a lot of our tech has been dictated by these giant corporations that they're not tasked with caring. So how do we infuse care back into a system that's kind of like built itself up like a robot?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think,
It cares about its shareholders,
yeah.
and making profit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, mushrooms, that's the key to that.
Exactly.
How do you make that? How do you infuse that into society in a
It's
practical?
getting infused, man. Have you noticed? It's all the rage. It's in vogue.
Yeah.
Therapists all around the world are like prescribing mushrooms. I mean, when did you think we'd ever get to that epiphany?
Um,
Glorious stuff, man.
yeah, I think if on a broad scale, yes, you can see that. There's always been something, some kind of sacred medicinal thing that has been there.
Kind of course corrects and
Yeah. But
reestablishes
it
nature's
if
presence
used
in our
correctly, yes, yes,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it. It's been a while,
Mm.
but I notice it's kind of like people are microdosing, people are doing mushrooms again.
Yeah, I mean, chocolate.
And this ketamine thing, that's getting kind of infused with. I've never tried that, but
I mean, chocolate fits into that category a little bit. It's not as, it's
the plant,
yeah,
cocoa, yeah, man, I know, and it influences language and behavior
that's right.
and thought patterns. Yeah, and it's an antioxidant. I mean, it's God. There was a guy that wrote a book talking about how corn, chocolate, and coffee were all from a different planet.
Mm.
That they're not native to this. And isn't it interesting when you go to the movie theater, you get popcorn, coffee or Coke, and chocolate.
Mm.
And it's almost as if the technology of the movie, I call it the shared dream,
Yeah,
and this extraterrestrial plant kind of pair so nicely
right.
into this tech exchange of dreams, really, and consciousness. I mean, what is a movie, right? It's like I'm creating a dream that you can live in and share with me.
Yeah,
Be anything. It doesn't have to be a narrative, rom com.
yeah.
We're so hung up on these you know, boxes.
Right. Right. What's a good example of something poetic that is outside of that box? That is
Well,
What's
I thought what Phil Tippett was trying to do with his Mad God was in that line. You know,
Oh yeah,
or you see David Lynch. I mean, let's celebrate
of
David
course.
Lynch for a minute here, who was exploring. When I first saw Eraserhead, I was like, "What?" I had to pull my jaw off the ground. I was like,
Yeah.
"What the hell is this?" Because, it was so stimulating to me because, I was a kid of the 70s and 80s where I was like, it didn't make me laugh. It didn't have a happy ending. It was like I had been brought up on baby food,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I had this like abstract, esoteric experience. I was just fascinated with it. I wanted to keep going deeper in.
Yeah. 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 Have you seen Flow?
I haven't seen Flow yet. Is that
Uh,
the cat
it
one?
is. It's a little bit like that. I mean, I knew someone was going to make a film with a game engine. It just was inevitable.
Yeah.
And this falls into that category of it's not a conventional story, but you're in with these characters, following them on their journey, and it's I think it's cool that it's kind of shaking things up a little bit. People are
I'm gonna check it out. That's a good endorsement. Um,
Yeah,
so what game?
no dialogue, just the sound of the animals, like really just
Oh, cool.
awesome sound design. Whoever recorded these animals and stuff like that, and mixed them.
And what game engine do they use?
I think I'm not sure. Actually, my wife just sent me like an interview about the making of, but I think it's just like a combination of the shareware that you can get. You know, like what's the CG one that the Chinese companies use, and they just really exploit it and make these hyper detailed. It's the alternative to Maya, and it'll come to me. But
Not hip to. I know like they use them in the volume all the time to in real time kind of create these photorealistic backgrounds and God, what is that one called?
yeah,
But yeah, they're so powerful now, and it's pretty cool.
yeah.
And you can be anywhere. That's what's so exciting about
Blender,
that Blender. Um,
Blender, and then there's the game engine that has like the physics kind of built into it.
and it's not my universe for sure, but I totally respect it. What's cool is you can
Okay,
live
I'm gonna
anywhere.
edit out this awkward pause, and I'm gonna just insert the name like this.
Unreal Engine.
There.
Yes.
Okay.
Little Wu Tang in there. So yeah, man, it's like for example, like I could live in New Zealand and be working, with you up in Portland,
Yeah,
because we both jump on the cloud. I mean, that's pretty cool stuff.
that is pretty special, and I've kind of been taking advantage of it as much as I can. I mean, that's why I started this podcast, because after the pandemic, I had this equipment and the services, stuff for doing voices remotely for like scratch wheels and stuff like that. I said,
Yeah,
just use all this stuff. But
cool. Yeah, well, that's what. Okay, so the prisoner's dilemma. What does that mean?
it's a game theory. And so it's basically two prisoners that are. It's kind of like a game about working together and altruism and karma. So if you rat on your fellow prisoner and it reduces your sentence,
Yeah.
it will reduce your sentence, but
Uh,
that relationship will continue. Like at some point, your sentence may be lighter, but at some point you're going to be out in the real world, and that relationship continues. So it's used as a game even in like for the nuclear proliferation, limitations. When they were deciding like, do we destroy our nuclear weapons or something like that? It's used to kind of, and there's a mathematical factor in it as well. Like if you make these moves, then down the line something happens. And so it could be used for anything. So it could be used for a conversation, like a relationship, people you have to live within your house. Like we were talking earlier about our sons and that, or our kids when they go out to the world and they're no longer around. You realize, wow, I just there was this relationship that I developed that is no longer there. And so I guess it's a good way to think about, raising your kids and how you're going to come out of it at the end when they're out in the world and they've left. And, so I think it's kindness. It's kindness. It makes you re-examine your values in almost any relationship, is the prisoner's dilemma. So if you act with kindness, that's the better reward for the most part than if you react with selfishness and like, what am I going to get out of this and protect myself and so I've always been fascinated when I heard about that concept.
It's such a great engine for writing too. It's when you talk about the clash of reward but karma.
But that's it.
I was really impressed with this show on Disney Plus, Andor. The Star Wars I call it Star Wars for adults. But there's a whole prison. There's a couple episodes that take place in a prison, and there's a lot of that sort of like karma decision making. Yeah,
that's what it's basically stories. Like all stories kind of have that aspect to it, And the bad guys usually are selfish and they only thinking about themselves, and the good guys, find a way to deal with that, and then
keep their ethics alive.
And then you get really like fractal based, where you look at the bad guy they are if it's a complex and interesting bad guy, they are fully believe that they're doing right for themselves and their community. So it's
big picture stuff. Yeah, totally. I love it.
And so let's talk about politics.
Sorry.
Let's talk about politics. No.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. That's great. Yeah. There's nothing divisive about that these days.
Yeah. but so let's wrap it up, Mish.
All right, brother.
So there's two things coming out now that there's the 3-part video thing that you did.
That's out.
Okay.
Yeah. Look around do a search. Maybe I think it's probably on the Weekend's YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. There's the Eric Clapton video.
Yeah, exactly. I forget where that's living. You like how I'm ready to sort of promote these projects?
Yeah, but it's good. There's Google these days. You can look it up.
Yeah.
And what's the name of the song of the Eric Clapton?
It's called The Call.
The Call. There's your very secretive Mike Murnane co-production.
Me, Mike, and this guy Jim Randall are collaborating on a project that we've sort of been nursing. It's on my plate right now, and I'm kind of in the slow lane, dropping the ball a little bit. But we teamed up on a project. It's really exciting.
And I would like to, at some point, do the Clown Party podcast interview. Clown Party. If that.
I would love that. That would be so much fun. Yeah, I'm down.
You can't program me. You can't monitor me. You can't control me.
Bing, 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 bing. All right, baby, you're up, man.
Sweet.